Have you ever been somewhere so remote, so steeped in tradition, that the air itself feels heavy with unspoken rules? A place where the friendly smiles of the locals don't quite reach their eyes, and the silence of the night is filled with whispers, older than the trees themselves. This story comes from Indonesia, a land of breathtaking beauty and deep-rooted mysticism. It's a story about 6 university students, full of ambition and modern sensibilities, who learned the hard way that some ancient rules should never, ever be broken. This is the story of what happened during their KKM program in a village they now only call Desa Tepian Kabut, the village on the edge of the mist. KKN, or Kuliah Kerja Nyata, is a community service program every Indonesian university student must complete. They are sent to a remote village for several months to help the local community. For Adi, Rina, Bayu, Devi, and 2 others, it was supposed to be an adventure, a break from the bustling city life of Jakarta. The village was exactly as they'd imagined, picturesque, surrounded by lush rice paddies and a deep, dark jungle that seemed to swallow the sun. The villagers were welcoming, offering them a place to stay in an old, empty wooden house at the edge of the village. It was large, traditional, and creaked with the weight of age. On their first day, the village elder, a wise old man named Pak Tarno, gave them a tour. He was kind, but his words carried a strange gravity. As he pointed towards a massive ancient banyan tree with roots like gnarled fingers sprawling across the jungle's edge, his smile vanished. "Welcome to our home," he said. "You are our guests. Live amongst us, help us. There is only one simple rule here. When the sun sets and the call to evening prayer echoes through the valley, you do not cross the old stone bridge that leads to the jungle. And more importantly, you never, ever take anything that belongs to that banyan tree." Bayu, the group's skeptic and jokester, chuckled softly. "Why is there a tiger, Pak?" Pak Tarno didn't laugh. He just looked at Bayu with eyes that seemed to hold a century of secrets. "Worse," he whispered. "Something worse than a tiger waits for those who disrespect the forest's guardian." The first few weeks were peaceful. The students taught local children, helped with the harvest, and enjoyed the simplicity of village life. But the house felt different at night. Rina, who was known for being more spiritually sensitive, was the first to notice it. A faint scent of frangipani flowers would drift through her room, even though there were none nearby. Sometimes, late at night, she'd hear the soft sound of a woman humming a lullaby, a melody that was both beautiful and deeply sorrowful. The others brushed it off. "It's just the wind," Rina Adi, the group leader, would say. "This old house is just playing tricks on you." But then, little things started happening. Objects would be slightly moved from where they left them. A window they were sure they had locked would be found wide open in the morning. The feeling of being watched became a constant, unwelcome companion. The breaking point came during their 2nd month. One afternoon, while playing football with the village kids, their ball flew across the forbidden stone bridge, landing right near the base of the giant banyan tree. The sun was setting fast, its orange light painting the sky. The evening call to prayer began its haunting echo. The local children immediately stopped playing. Their faces were pale with fear. "Don't, Maz," one little boy pleaded with Bayu. "Leave the ball. It belongs to her now." Bayu just scoffed. "It's just a ball, and I'm not afraid of some old scary story." Ignoring the warnings from his friends and the terrified looks from the children, Bayu jogged across the stone bridge. As he picked up the ball, his eyes caught something on the ground, a smooth, oddly shaped black stone, nestled amongst the banyan's roots. Thinking it would be a cool souvenir, a testament to his bravery, he slipped it into his pocket. He returned to the house, laughing, brandishing the ball and the stone. See, nothing to be afraid of. No tiger, no ghost, just a creepy old tree. That night, everything changed. The humming Rina used to hear was replaced by the distinct sound of a woman weeping, seemingly just outside their window. A loud thump echoed from the attic above them. Then came the scratching, a slow, deliberate scrape, 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 on the wooden walls of the house, like long fingernails dragging across the timber. They huddled together in the main room, terrified. The sweet smell of frangipani was now overpowering, suffocating. Through the window, they saw a flash of white dart past in the darkness, but the worst of it was reserved for Bayu. He woke up screaming. He claimed a woman was standing at the foot of his bed, a woman in a long, tattered white dress, with hair so long it covered her face. He said she just stood there, silent, before slowly raising her head, and from the black veil of her hair, he saw 2 glowing blood-red eyes. From that night on, Bayu was a different person. He became sick, weak with a fever the local doctor couldn't explain. He refused to be left alone, constantly muttering about the woman in white. He'd point to empty corners of the room, his eyes wide with terror, whispering, "She's here. She's watching me. She wants her stone back." The haunting escalated. Doors would slam shut with violent force. The sound of high-pitched mocking laughter would echo from the empty hallway. One evening, as Dewey was in the kitchen, a plate flew off the shelf and shattered at her feet. They were no longer guests in the house. They were prisoners with a tormented spirit. Desperate, Addie and Rena went to the village elder, Paktarno, and confessed everything. They told him about Bayu crossing the bridge, about the stone he took. The old man's face grew grim. He lit a Kretek cigarette, the scent of cloves filling the air, and finally told them the story of the spirit they had angered. "She is the Kuntilanak," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "The spirit of a woman who died in childbirth generations ago, betrayed and left to die under that banyan tree. She is the guardian of the forest, the watcher in the dark. She is at peace, unless she is disturbed. By taking her stone, you have invited her into your lives. She has latched onto your friend, and she will not let him go until she has drained all of his life force." Panic set in. "What can we do?" Addie begged. "There is only one way," Paktarno replied. "You must return what was taken, and you must apologize. Tonight, at the stroke of midnight." That night was the longest of their lives. Led by Paktarno, they carried the weak and delirious Bayu back to the forbidden bridge. The air was unnaturally cold, the jungle silent, as if all life was holding its breath. As they approached the banyan tree, it was there, hunched over on a thick branch, a figure in white. They couldn't see her face, only the impossibly long dark hair that cascaded down like a funeral shroud. A low gurgling laughter filled the air, a sound that seemed to crawl under their skin and freeze their blood. The smell of decay and frangipani was overwhelming. "Do it now," Paktarno urged. With his friend supporting him, the trembling Bayu stumbled forward. He held out the black stone in his shaking hand. I am sorry," he stammered, his voice cracking with fear. "I meant no disrespect. I am returning what is yours. Please, please leave us in peace." He placed the stone carefully at the base of the tree. For a moment that stretched into an eternity, nothing happened. The figure on the branch remained motionless. Then, a chilling, ear-splitting shriek pierced the silence of the night, a sound of pure rage and sorrow. The wind howled, whipping the branches of the banyan tree into a frenzy. And then, it was over. The figure was gone. The wind died down. The oppressive cold lifted. The jungle was once again filled with the normal sounds of crickets and frogs. They didn't wait for sunrise. They packed their bags in the dead of night, left a note of apology, and fled the village. They never looked back. They never finished their KKN program. Bayu eventually recovered his physical health, but the light in his eyes was gone forever. He became quiet, reserved, and is still startled by the faintest unexpected noise. He never spoke of what he saw that night. None of them did, for a very long time. This story is a chilling reminder, passed down in whispers among students in Indonesia. A warning that when you are a guest in a land that is not your own, you must respect its boundaries, both visible and invisible, because some places hold memories, and some guardians never sleep. The next time you see a beautiful, ancient banyan tree, remember the students of the village on the edge of the mist, and whatever you do, don't take anything.